Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I'm Natasha from AxelsonAcademy. I'm going to be starting a bunch of read aloud playlists for you throughout this winter. And the first playlist that we are beginning is a social emotional playlist. Now I always tell teachers, make sure you read the book before you read it to your students. And this is going to be a great playlist that you could put on and just have playing in the background to expose yourself to a lot of the good literature that is out there available for your use. You might not have the time to get to the library, to check out all these books, to determine which ones you feel are the best. And so I'm going to say, you can take my word for it. These are some really good books. You definitely, though, need to listen or read to them before you share it in your own classroom, especially our social emotional books here that can bring up a lot of deeper issues that you're going to need to discuss with your students. So the first book that I'm highlighting today is The Grief Rock. And The Grief Rock is a tangible representation of what it feels like when somebody goes through loss. And this can be loss of a loved one, can be loss of a life dream, but something that really weighs on them. And that feeling, especially for children, can be hard to explain. It's not something tangible for us, and yet it's this really present piece in their life. So if you have a student that experiences the loss of a family member or something along that line, this might be a really wise book to share with your students so that they can understand what this other child is going through. And actually, after reading this book, it helps me as an adult understand grief better. That there are good days and there are bad days, but grief becomes an ever-present piece of your life. So The Grief Rock is a book to understand grief and love. When someone you love dies, the grief rock shows up. At first, the rock is so heavy that it crushes you. It can be hard to eat. It can be hard to sleep. It can be hard to do anything but be crushed. Sometimes all you can do is breathe, and even that is hard. Other people can help you hold the rock for a bit, but they can never fully take it away, even if they really want to. Sometimes people don't know what to say or do, so they avoid you and the grief rock. It's hard to see other people play and have fun when you have to hold something so heavy. You remember the times you didn't have to carry the rock, and it makes you sad. As time goes on, you get used to having the rock with you while still doing the things you need to do, like eating, sleeping, and even having fun. Sometimes you forget the rock is even there. It feels so small. And sometimes it suddenly grows so big that it crushes you again. You try to escape the rock. You try to hide the rock. But it always finds its way back to you. Feeling defeated, you learn to sit with the rock and accept its place in your life. You reach out to give the rock a hug, and suddenly it starts to glow. And you take a closer look and realize the rock is made up of all the love you had and will forever hold. I think this is such a vivid portrayal of how grief can be that small moment where it can, your pebble can fit in a pocket, but it's still with you. And then at moments, it's really, really big. And I saw a speaker about this book, and she said that when a little girl came back to her classroom after having lost a parent, the kids would sometimes ask her, like, So how big is your grief rock right now? And some days that child would come in and it would be all she could do to get through the day, and the kids would be like, yep, her grief rock is really big today. And then sometimes when they'd start to see her laugh and play with them again and be more like she was before she had the parent pass away, they could be like, oh yeah, well, her grief rock is a little smaller today, which is really, you know, we're helping her out that way. And it gave them a point of reference to help understand those feelings that can change so much. So I highly recommend that you have this book on hand. I hope you never have to use it in your classroom, but if you do, it's a great tool. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.